Now that we've taken a look at the Dynamics AX phone app, we will take a look at the Windows 8 application suite, which includes approvals, expenses, and timesheets. The approvals application is able to handle all pending workflow items that an approver has to act upon. They can view details and any attached SSRS reports. The expenses application allows you to do full-fledged expense reports from your Windows 8 device, whereas the timesheet application allows you to submit timesheets from your Windows 8 device. So we'll take a look at the Windows 8 application suite, which includes the approvals, expenses, and timesheet applications. We'll start off with the expenses application. I launched my Windows 8 expenses app to create an expense report for the receipt that I just saved from my phone. And as soon as the application launches, I am able to see at a glance all my expense reports in their different states. So I currently have one that is in draft, and I have one that is in review. What I want to do is open the one that is currently in draft and add my cab ride expense that I just uploaded from my phone. But before that, let's take a look at the different functionalities that we have within an expense report. So in this particular view, I can see all of my expenses sorted by category. I can also look at them in a calendar view, which gives me a nice way to see how much money I spent on each day. And I can also see them in a report view, which is great when I have a lot of expenses to go through. I'm going to bring up the app pod and click on the unreconciled button and add the expense that I just uploaded from my phone. So I go ahead and bring that into the expense report. I can then go into the calendar view and confirm that it is on the correct date. I can also select this expense, see that I have the note that I entered from my phone. All that looks good, and I am now ready to submit my expense report for approval. And now I can see that the state has changed from draft to in review. Next, we'll take a look at the timesheet application. Once again, I can see my timesheet for the past week, and I can see my current timesheet. I go ahead and open this up, and what I have here is once again a calendar view, which gives me a day-by-day breakdown for each entry. I can also look at the details, where I can perform actions on multiple entries at once, such as multi-delete. And I can also take a look at the charts view, which gives me a breakdown on how much time has been spent on projects in a particular time period and how much time has been spent on different categories. So I go back to the week view, and I just want to go over the entry that I saved from my phone, and it seems like I didn't add any internal comments, and I ended up working more than 5 hours on Friday. So I go ahead and update the hours, and I add a comment, save the entry, and now I am ready to submit this as well. This chart gives me information on the amount of billable hours that I have had in each particular time period as well. Finally, we can take a look at the approvals application. In the approvals application, I can view all of my pending approvals, and I can group them by submitted dates, who the submitter was, or the type of approval that it is. For example, timesheets or expense reports, etc. So in this case, I see that I have numerous approvals that have been pending for over 2 weeks. So let's take a look at this timesheet. And I can see a breakdown similar to what I saw in the timesheet application, where I see how many hours Yoichiro spent on the project each day, what category he was working on. I can also go to the time summary tab and see how much of his time was spent on a particular project. In this instance, he spent all of his time working on a single project and category. And we can also look at the project impact tab and see if this is exceeding or meeting the number of budgeted hours. In this case, this is a concern because we're not meeting we're overshooting the budgeted hours for this particular project. So what I can go ahead and do is reject this timesheet and add a reason. And this goes back to Yoichiro for him to go ahead and take a look at. Another interesting thing to note is the multi-approve and multi-reject action in the approvals application, where I can go ahead and reject or approve multiple work items at a time. I can also attach an SSRS report to each approval, and when I have one attached, I will see a new pivot next to the overview pivot, which will have attachments in there which can be opened in PDF format or other formats. In the overview pivot, I see different instructions, title information, and other configurable information that the administrator can configure in AX. So that was a brief overview of the approvals application. We'll now talk briefly about the email approval feature, and then take a look at the architecture and talk about configuration resources that are available.